Alright everyone, so today finally we're gonna go over 4 months of Raid on a free-to-play account. So obviously, as explained in the past, I have played the game for a pretty long time, so with a new free-to-play account I kinda knew what to do heading into it and was trying to actually convey a lot of what I know through the videos that I recorded over the time frame. But today I want to go a little bit over where the account is right now, what the plans are going forward, and what the biggest hurdles are and where you probably should be if you have been playing the game for a reasonable amount of time. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a closer look at the free-to-play account. So there's actually a lot of ground to cover, and I think the best way that we're going to do this is we're going to start on the things that I haven't used yet. Now, we just recently had pulls on our soul stones and also the ancient shards. Now I have another 7 now left, but I pulled, I believe, around 80, and that gave me a reasonable amount of legendary champions and also epic champions that I can now play with. What I still haven't pulled are my 3 sacreds, my 4 primal shards, and my 8 void shards. Now there's a couple more coming up through the rewards that I'm going to get soon, and in the spirit of that I would assume that I'm going to get some useful champions that I can use in order to progress. Now in order to make this like the best, 4 months in video, I would have probably had to pull all of it, but as I already explained in the past, one of the most important things about progressing quickly in Raid is to have some patience and only pull these when you have a ×2 event coming up, at least with the new account. So this is just a bit of a idea of where I am regarding shards as we're heading into where the account actually is. Now, looking at the daily logins, we are currently on our way to get Lordly Legionnaire. So this is unfortunately one of the champions that is fairly useless. He's mostly being used as a faction guardian. There's a couple of edge scenarios in where you can actually build him, but in most cases you won't have to use him because you should have other heroes in the meantime. Sill of the Drakes is the next real big pull that I'm going to get through the daily logins. That's obviously still some time away, but Sill herself, I mean, she's pretty impressive, not only for faction wars, but just as a general champion, especially if you're lacking a decent reviver, but also just her sheer control through stuns and more is pretty great. So she's amazing, and once that you get her, you should pull her quickly. Now, where the account is still lacking a little bit, and this is honestly my fault, is in missions. Now, I have focused on missions a little bit more lately, but if you're looking at some of the things that I have to go through, these are all things I already achieved a long time ago, and I should have been a bit more diligent going over these. The big goal, obviously, is not only to get the next Sacred Shard, which I should get within a couple of days, but also the Legendary Tomes, and more importantly, Arbiter. Arbiter is a total game changer. She's one of the best champions that you can get for Arena. So if you have an Arbiter, then she is going to be super useful there, but also in other PvE areas. But she's obviously one of the fastest champions in the game and usually used as a speed lead for Arena. So just a little bit of an idea of where we are with this. But let's focus a bit on what we've actually already done and where we are with dungeons, for example. So dungeons, doesn't matter which keep we're talking about. I'm not going to go too much in detail, but I can basically farm every single keep that I have on stage 20. So that allows me to go straight for the superior arcane potions and the greater arcane potions. The same is also true for all of the other flavors of the potions. So potion dungeons were already conquered a while ago. I think already at the 3-month video I had that. Same is also true, of course, for the Minotaur's Labyrinth. That's one of the first things that you should be able to conquer, that you can reliably farm stage 15. But now we're going to the real meat, and that's obviously the dungeons themselves. And the one, basically, thanks to like me tricking a little bit, I have now basically conquered all of the stages. I'm not playing stage 25 and I'm not farming it, simply because I'm usually just farming stage 24 anyways for items. So I haven't even progressed to that, I haven't tried, but I think I can break through stage 25 if I need to. The big trick, as I already explained in one of the videos here, was for me to combine Elenaril with Mickey to spread the HP burn debuff on the opponents, and that helped me to just break through all of that, because I still don't have a proper HP burn champion. So Elenaril is the only one, and it's not an AoE spread that she has, but that's where Mickey then comes in. So with timing a little bit and dealing with speeds, I did a video on that you might want to check out if you haven't seen it yet. That allowed me to just easily farm the spider dungeon. So if you're struggling here, I would highly recommend that you go back and you check out that video. So that's on the spider dungeon, and on every other dungeon it's essentially the same. My goal from the beginning was to go to stage 24, and then in stage 24 just farm that as reliably as possible. I suppose I could go for stage 20 as well here. Should be able to break through that, honestly. Obviously, I have my Frozen Banshee, who is doing most of the work once that we are at the dragon itself, and she is a weak affinity once we're going to Force Affinity to stage 25, but everything else is pretty much the same. This is the lineup that I use now for all of the dungeons here. The main goal is to get my Frozen Banshee to the end boss, but I could also now use other champions to get there, so this lineup has been around for quite some time. The only dungeon that I haven't really progressed too much, I only went to stage 25, haven't tried stage 23 yet, is the Ice Golem. I explained this in the past, but I think Ice Golem is fairly useless. The reward that you're getting there are something that I don't really need and want, so this is something I will progress once that the missions force me to do it, but I've never really farmed Ice Golem in order to get items. Critical, like the crit rate is kind of nice when we're talking about the sets that you can get there. Retaliation can be useful too, but if you compare that to speed, to regeneration, to savage sets, crit damage sets and whatnot, then it just takes a real backseat compared to all of these. So this is something that is just not really worth farming in my eyes, at least not at this point. Later on this might change, but therefore I never really progressed in the Ice Golem's Peak. When we're talking about the Fire Knight, it's a bit of a different story. So here we have crit damage, we have regeneration, we have stun, we have savage. That's one of the best dungeons to farm. I'm currently farming stage 24 here. And the lineup is honestly fairly easy, because Grave Wolf really allows me to break through the shield and apply the decreased speed. I did a video on Grave Wolf and how much he can help with this. But if you're looking at the lineup here, I don't have a Cold Heart, I don't have an Allure, and I'm not even using Armiger here. So when it comes to turn meter control, there's very little that gets used here. You can argue that the A2 of Gorm at least has some turn meter control, but it's, again, just a bit of a side note. Morg obviously helps with the ally attack, but generally you could use a similar lineup and just swap out a couple of the champions. Gorm, for example, isn't necessarily needed here, but I was really limited on options when I put this team together, and I was very happy that I was able to get to stage 24 and farm this, especially since Grave Wolf and Morgoth are both at level 50. I haven't even upgraded them to 60, I just don't need to. And I can farm this with 100% clear rate, so farming stage 24 here is really nice for me. It gives me a lot of good items, and the next few tournaments I will use them fully. Now this is the good news right now. Actually, when we're talking about good news, before we're jumping into the Sand Elves Necropolis and the Shogun's Grove, let's go over a few other things. Faction Wars, for example, you can take a bit of a look at the stages where I am with this and where I'm also in regards to the rewards here. I'm starting to do a lot better after the recent agent shots that I pulled, because I have now slowly more options of what I can do. I have, I believe, today also started to beat the last stage, to age 21 for the first time. Now there's obviously a lot of stuff to do here still, if you're looking at how many extra stars that I can get for rewards. The problem in that context for me is just simply that if you're looking at the lineup, a lot of these guys are still on level 40. I'm not quite sure how many of them I really want to get to 50, because I have a lot that I need to do, which we're going to go over in just a second. Just saying, I progressed pretty far with a lot of the stages in Faction Wars, but I haven't 3-starred all of them yet. I just need more champions in order to do that reliably and then upgrade them. When we're talking Arena, Classic Arena, again, it's not too impressive. I'm basically jumping between Gold 1 and Gold 4. It's all about how much time I'm really investing. With Arena, you normally just focus on, you know, the easy ones. The lineup that I'm using here is essentially always the same. I have my speed lead, which is High Cartoon. She's on 50. Haven't even upgraded her. Still winning most of the speed battles unless the opponent has an Arbiter, but since you can pick your battles in normal Arena, it's not a problem. Gorm is just providing a stun, and then I have the damage that comes in and takes most of these out. So I don't really have an issue with Arena. It's just to farm everything for the Great Hall. Live Arena, I'm at 1,400 points, a little bit more, I believe. Yeah, 1,400 right now. Silver 1. Again, I play it as I can, but there I'm probably the most limited, and an Arbiter would really help me. But the focus was on PvE the entire time, simply because that helps me to get more items, gets the champions higher. So Arena is something that I invest some time in, but it's not really a high focus for me. We're looking at Tag Team Arena. I'm currently like Bronze 2, Bronze 3 also here. It's just like a little bit for the bazaar, for champion fragments, for ancient shards, the occasional chicken that I'm gonna get here. But the issue here was the same. Not a lot of champions on 60, because I was able to just get all of the lineups to farm high-level dungeons without even upgrading everybody to 60. But we're going to go over that in a second. That leaves us with the clan boss. So clan boss I'm actually fairly happy with. I have currently a 2 key set up for Nightmare. The clan that I'm in is a newer clan. Can't do Ultra Nightmare just yet, but I still want to progress my lineup here as is. This is a pretty decent lineup that I will upgrade soon, because I pulled, for example, Minaya, who's going to help me. She's likely going to replace Gorm. I think I should get better results, even though I'm losing the increased speed on my team. But this is a lineup that helped me now to 1-star or 1-key Brutal. I'm 2-keying Nightmare, and once that we're unlocking Ultra Nightmare here, I'm going to work on my Ultra Nightmare setup. This is going to improve this a little bit. I went in detail over clan boss, how you can improve your damage and little tricks there, but once that we are unlocking Ultra Nightmare, I'm also going to go a bit more into advanced teams that you can use there. Hydra is definitely a weak point. It's something where I don't get a lot of damage done right now, and can at a maximum get the novice chest over here. So this is something where the account needs to improve. Chimera, I can finish normal and get the knight's chest over here. When it comes to going for the rewards and for all the trials that you have there, not really too much. Currently completing 2 trials, definitely need to do a bit of work, but as you can already see with the lineup that I'm currently running, when I use this, I didn't even have them fully ascended. So both Big Un and also Minaya were new champions that I had thanks to the recent pulls. They need to be upgraded, working on that, so this is going to help me to improve the damage output on Chimera, and then I'm going to be able to also focus a little bit more on trials themselves. Doom Tower, mainly completed Doom Tower normal, so that's not really a problem. The lineup that I have did extremely well with that. When it comes down to hard, not really progressing as much. Over here, I'm definitely struggling a little bit right now, and it's mainly because of survivability. So one of the things that I need is to upgrade my Minaya so that she can keep the team alive. I also don't have a reviver that I'm really happy with. Now, we can take a look at my lineup a bit later, but revivers, I have 1 or 2, but they're not really all that great. So that's a little bit of a problem and something to definitely focus on. Cursed City, doing okay there. Haven't really been able to go straight up to Animus. That's like the next thing. One piece that I'm really struggling with, and it starts to annoy me, is that essentially any stage where I have a Frost Spider is really difficult for me to beat, because I just don't have enough champions and have an HP burn. So can't do that. Just simply can't beat it. So it has been a problem for a while now, and it starts to be annoying, but yeah. So go make the dungeons. One of the areas where I definitely need to improve is my Iron Twins. There we're coming back again to the champions that I have and the depth of my lineup. We're going to take a look at it in a moment, don't worry. But here I need more. I need more blessings, I need more souls. I really need to work on this so that I get the Mortal Soul coins. But it hasn't really been something that has been the highest priority. Again, if you have a new account, the priorities need to always be farming, Spider's Den, Dragon Slayer, and Fire Knight. Those are the big 3. That's also where my gems are now going to go. So I have 3,000 gems, and I'm going to invest them in the next Fire Knight tournament, in the Dragon Slayer tournament, and just making sure that I get more and more items. So when we're talking Sand Devil, not really that great either. Stage 8, but also because I haven't really focused on it. Before I can upgrade and ascend my items, I first of all need really good items, and that's the priority for that. So this is something that I didn't really focus on. When we talk about the Shogun's Grove, a little bit more progress here, but also not something where I would say, okay, I'm going to farm this reliably now. And since I just talked about the twins, obviously I need more champions that have really nice blessings and therefore can help me there. So this is going to be a big part of it. So with that said and done, let's look at the champions. Let's look at one of the most important things with all of this. So when we're talking champions, you can see that right now I have only 6 champions that are on 60. 7 actually, when we're talking about Hilda. So this is an account that is 4 months in, and I've been talking quite a bit about it, because I think a mistake that a lot of people make at the beginning is that they focus... The first thing that you learn is that you should upgrade champions to 60. That's at least the biggest piece of advice that most people will give you, and it's absolutely true. The important part is you need to be selective in who you upgrade to 60. Also, because if you upgrade somebody to 60, you want to book them properly. And in the context of legendary champions, it's really, really important that you have those books available. So for example, I booked my Michelangelo, I put a lot of books into Alice, but she's not fully booked, so I can, for example, still get the cooldown reduction on my A2, but I have now started to put books into Minaya, who's currently at 50, because she's going to be a huge asset for me and already has been. I have put books into Hilda and in basically all the other 60s here. Anchorite was also a really good champion for me to just progress the account a little bit. But the important part that I really want to go over is that you have to think a little bit about what's worth my resources and not overspend. Look, for example, at the lineup that I showed you earlier for Fire Knight. I have a level 50 Grave Wolf that I use there and a level 50 Vogoth. Both help me also in Faction Wars. I now recently got my monster, which I have upgraded to 50 now as well. I'm about to upgrade one of the champions to 60. That's going to be Minaya. I actually think I can that today. And after that, I will most likely get my Big Un to 62. But the point is that before I do that, I might actually upgrade my Sandlash Survivor into 50. She might be someone that can help me also to increase my damage even further on the clan boss, but she's also going to be a huge help on Faction Wars. And more importantly, I have a Magna that I definitely want to use, because he's going to be a huge damage dealer in a lot of areas for me, not only Faction Wars, but he can do a ton. So those are champions that I will get to 50 very quickly, and then I have to decide who I'm going to upgrade to level 60 after Minaya. But at the point where the account is at right now, what I'm going to focus on more so than anything else is to actually upgrade more champions to 60. That needs to happen pretty quickly, because currently the main focus for me is just areas where I need more depth in the lineup. So I need to go for the twins, I need to do more in Faction Wars, or at least want to. And then we're talking about new Doom Tower rotations, Doom Tower Hard, about Cursed City, and there I need a bit more depth in my lineup. So this is why a lot of these champions will end up on 50 and then 60. So a lot of farming is actually in the near future on the account, not only to get the items to cook all of them, but also to get them onto a higher level. So this is basically where we are right now. The champions that I have, and they're upgraded to 60, they're actually super useful. You might also notice with Frozen Banshee I even upgraded a rare. And the main reason is that she is just absolutely crucial in Clan Boss and also in the Dragon Slayer. So she has been one of the best investments that I made, because it was super important to get at least to the Dragon Slayer to a level very quickly where I can 5 and 6 star items and don't have to bother with the 4 stars anymore. So that helped me to get a lot of speed gear. I still need a lot, but I have a lot of speed gear right now that I can use, and this then in return helped me very quickly to progress also in the Fire Knight. So this all worked out quite nicely for me. You might have noticed that in the 50 area there's a lot of champions that are worth upgrading to 60. So again, this is going to be the next priority here. And from there on, we'll see how far we can go. I mean, I still have a couple of champions that can be quite nice. Thorn Golem is another one that has a lot of potential. I did a video on him too. But right now, Minaya is going to go to 60. Hilda, by the way, I wanted to do a video about her at some point too. She's amazing. I really like her. That level 1 where she steals buffs is awesome. I love it. She has a stun that she applies too. Isn't quite on 60 yet, but that's the next piece. So Minaya is going to go to 60. After Minaya, Monster, Big Un, they need to go to 60. My Magna needs to go to 60. And Sandlash Survivor is very likely going to be upgraded to 60 as well. It's going to be probably my next few, unless I pull in a ×2 event for Sacred. Something amazing. But that's what I'm working at. And you can see already that I have a couple of 5-star chickens here as is. So Minaya is going to be upgraded within the next day or two. And then I will most likely try and use these guys to build my team for the Twin Fortress a little bit, to make sure that I'm getting more and more coins so that I can get more blessings. When it comes to the Awakening status, I have a few of them now upgraded, so this is actually helpful. Hilda, for example, Leminisi is at 5-star. I have also a nice 4-star that I got for Minaya, but generally speaking, I need a lot more there in order to help me with certain areas in the game. Phantom Grove being just one of them, but a lot of the areas, of course, in the Cursed City are others. So this gives you a little bit of an idea of where I currently am with the account. The account is level 61 right now, just a bit of a side note, haven't even mentioned it just yet. I guess the Great Hall is something I can also give you a bit of an idea on. So Great Hall, I made this very clear at the beginning, you should focus on accuracy more so than anything else. There's also a couple of progress missions coming up where it's all about upgrading individual panels to, I believe, 10. So I'm working on that slowly, and this is the main idea. Upgrade everything else to like 1 just because it's so dirt cheap. And at some point I might invest a bit more. But the main idea is don't spread yourself too thin here. Upgrade accuracy first. That's really going to help you. I went into area bonuses as well. Just a little bit for Faction Wars. That's obviously going to be important for Faction Wars hard later on too. For keeps and dungeons, I mean, totally useless. Don't waste any there. Doom Tower, you can upgrade a couple of key elements. Demon Lord battle the same, Hydra battle, this one you can upgrade definitely a lot more too, this is going to help you. And Cursed City plus then Shogun's Grove, those are others. So there's a couple of areas here that are really worth upgrading. I honestly should do a few more upgrades, I still have some resources here. But when it comes to the normal dungeons, don't waste your time. Faction Wars is a little bit different because again, they're really impactful, the rewards that you're getting there are great. But generally speaking, when we're talking about the Great Hall, you should really invest a bit into all of the arenas just to get the resources now. But that was a bit of an overview over the account, and I hope that gave you a bit of an idea of where this is all at. I'm currently also in the process of slowly fading out 5-star items. I basically don't... I'm not quite where I ignore all the 5-star items yet. 5-star speed boots are still something that is worth it to me. But generally speaking, over the next 2-3 weeks, I will start to just sell everything that is 5-star automatically. And only keep the 6 stars. I need a few more tournaments to really come in and farm Fire Knight and also Dragon Slayer to only focus on the 6-star items. But I will now start fading out the 5-star items completely. Focus on 6-star, and then obviously after all of the champions are upgraded, then I also need to focus on ascending those items, get them better there, but that's a little bit farther in the future. My immediate future is going to be upgrading a lot of my champions. This is going to be the most important thing, and then when a tournament hits, I will invest the gems that I have to place myself within the top 3 of each tournament, get a little bit more relentless gear that I obviously then have too. Can take a little bit look at the gear as well, so I still have some left here. I haven't really put everything onto the champions yet, but regeneration gear was pretty important to me, and I have a fair amount of relentless gear too. Now the boots that I have, don't get too excited, it's not like all the 6-star boots are speed boots, so I keep them for potential reworks just because it's pretty difficult to get relentless gear. So this is one of the sets where I personally think that it's actually worth to throw a rework in when you can do one. Not something I focus on right now, but since I have the space, I will keep them for the time being. But I still have a couple of decent pieces here. A lot of this is 5-star, some of it is 6-star, but I can put more and more champions into Relentless if I really want to. And specifically when we're talking about certain bosses, this is something that is incredibly useful. And then obviously Savage Gear is a bit of a similar situation right now, where I'm going to focus more and more on Savage Gear. For example, looking over to my Michelangelo, you can see on the right that a lot of these pieces are completely broken, that there's not really a lot of synergy going on. The only set that I actually use is a speed set, but good crit damage gloves that have crit rate 2 was not something that I had a lot, but that will be faded out as well, and then he's going to be in Savage Gear. So there's a bit of improvement to be done there as well. Just disregarding for a moment ascending items and re-rolling, for example, something like the flat defense that I have on the ascension bonus into additional crit damage. So there's plenty to do. The next few weeks will be on upgrading champions, and then I will use those champions to improve in the areas that I currently went over. But this gives you a bit of an idea of where I currently am with the account. So I'm quite happy with the progress, and we are going to go now into, I would say, the mid-game slowly, but very happy with where we're at. Very happy with the recent pulls that I had that are going to help me to progress the account even further. and then we'll see what the next big challenges are. Now, for me, it would actually be really important to know what you guys so far think. If those videos helped you, I've been doing this for a little bit now, but feedback would be really great if there are people out there, you know, that watch the videos and actually take something from them. If it helps you to break through certain stages in the content, being in dungeons or other areas, and also if there are, of course, specifics where you might want a little bit more advice and want me to go over things in more detail. But I know that we have slowly a few more views on the videos, nothing insane, but again, it's kind of nice to see that and to see more people also engaging with them. But let me know if this actually helps you, because that feedback helps me to decide, hey, do I continue this or what am I going to do with the account? But either way, that's where I am. 4 months of raid progress. That's where we are right now on the free-to-play account. And I can't wait to see how far I can go once that I have the champions that I just highlighted around 60. And obviously, I still have a couple of shots on the back burner that hopefully will also reveal a couple. My Siphi is waiting for the next pull when we have the ×2 on the void shots. I'm going to pull her. I would settle for a Krisk if I have to. But yeah, time will tell. So that's it for the day. Thanks for watching. Again, leave some feedback in the comments on what you think so far. If there's anything that you want me to touch upon in a bit more detail, and let me know if the videos so far were helpful. Thanks a lot as usual for watching, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.